Hi, my name is David Peon. I'm one of the two authors, together with José Manuel Martínez Filgueira, colleague from University of Coruña, of the article "What Leads to Investment in Sustainable Building: an MCA PCA Approach." I'm going to start with the motivation of our article and the conceptual framework, followed by a description of the sample and data, the statistical analysis, both MCA and PCA analysis, which I will describe, and the main results and conclusions. The motivation for our article is to put the focus on innovation as the key driver of corporate value, in particular in the sector of environmentally sustainable building construction. So the objective of our article is to analyze which are the main drivers or determinants behind innovation decisions by these companies in this sector in Spain. We follow the conceptual framework first by defining innovation following the Community Innovation Survey of the European Union as an investment appraisal of opportunities by the firm. And second, we follow in specifically the technology organization environment, which is a classic in the literature. Basically, this branch of the literature defines the four decisions, innovation decisions by the firm, as innovations on products or on processes or how the firm is organized, or marketing innovation. And the main drivers of these four decisions could be an extensive list of indicators, but they are usually described under three different domains, whether these are internal or organizational characteristics of the firm size, the CEOs, the employees, etc., whether they are referred to the technology itself and why the company is implementing this technology, and environmental factors or external characteristics. What we do is we use the data from the Spanish Technological Innovation Panel, the PTEC database, which is a well-known database from the Spanish Ministry, where they survey thousands of companies actually in Spain, ask about their innovation decisions, why they innovate, and who are these companies, that the main features of these companies. We specifically focus on sectors related to our to the conference here today, that is manufacture of good and products of good and cork, other non-metallic products, furniture, construction of buildings, civil engineering, specialized construction. And unfortunately, we could not include some others that would be of interest, such as chemicals or energy and water, architectural and engineering, because in the PTEC database, they are mixed with other sectors. So we believe it's better not to include them. So these are the variables. We're going to focus of those four innovations decisions. We're going to focus specifically on how these companies innovate on the products used and the processes to implement or to make these services or goods. So we focus on innovations on product and processes, and the indicators or main drivers that we try to identify follow under first the organizational literature, including firm size and financial restrictions, basically. The reasons why these companies innovate in these technologies, so it's because in terms of market growth or new markets, or improving quality, reducing costs, regulatory compliance, etc. And third, whether these decisions are also influenced by the context, which is, for instance, the relationship with partners, customers, suppliers, and technology centers, etc. Well, what we do is we implement a two-step analysis, statistical analysis. First, we use multiple correspondence analysis in order to transform what is categorical data, which is the answers the PTEC database obtains to the surveys, into numerical data. And we do this by reducing the dimensionality of the data, as is common in this statistical technique. We obtain, out of those 41 indicators, we obtain 10 different domains, which basically follows from the fact that the relative advantage of technology was split into 5 domains, and that the only proxy that we had for the cost of innovation was included together with the other indicators and the financial restrictions. And this is basically the statistical, descriptive statistics of our sample once the MCA analysis was implemented. Then, in the second step, the bulk of our analysis is to implement the principal component analysis, which is a factorial statistical technique, where we explore the main drivers of innovation by these Spanish firms using the 10 domains, the 10 indicators we obtained from the MCA in the previous step. What PCA does is to explain the variance-covariance structure of variables by creating new uncorrelated variables from linear combinations. Of the first ones, we check all is correct from technical point of view, and we obtain 4 significant components that explains more than 60, actually almost 70% of all variance on this sample. For robustness, we implemented 2 different PCA analyses, and we obtained basically sound results when we compare one with another, no rotation and varimax rotation. So using varimax rotation in particular in this slide, we can see that the first component relates everything about the relative advantage of innovation. I mean, firms innovate because they try to grow, the company tries to grow, or they want to improve the quality of their products, or they try to reduce the cost of the products, etc. This is linked to the context, I mean, to the social domain that depends on your customers, your suppliers, links to universities, etc. So this first domain links these 2 areas of determinants. The most interesting component is the second one, because first it tells us that product and process innovation tend to come together. That is, companies that innovate in the types of products that they use for instance, construction activities, also try to innovate in how they different processes to implement those products or put them on the market. And second, firms with larger firms, and firms with restricted access to financial sources are related to innovation. In particular, the larger the firm and the less restricted, the larger the firm, the more they innovate, and the more restricted, the less they innovate. Well, there are two other components that relate the size and resources. In particular, as is common in the financial literature, we find that the larger companies tend to have more access to resources, and the organizational objective of reducing time response follows lastly. So our conclusions are that the main determinants to invest in sustainable building in Spain are firm size and access to financial sources, although we want to emphasize limitations of these resorts, firstly because of the techniques used. These are an exploratory analysis, so there is not, you cannot assume any causality in this. There is also many missing data in the database, in the PTEC database, refer to the relative advantage of technology. This might have influenced our results, and it would be interesting also to include some of the sectors that you have to exclude because of the characteristics of this database. Thank you very much.